Okay, we went over this last Friday on how to convert fractions to decimals, decimals to fractions in your calculator. So today we're going to do our more rational number conversion practice, okay? Just for review, we are going to be using your orange chart. Mine is white, but yours is orange, just so you can identify it. Let's go. First thing we have is fraction to decimal, so we're going to go to our sheet, and on our sheet, fraction to decimal is right here. It says enter the numerator, press divide, enter the denominator, press enter. Remember, as I do these videos, that if I'm going too fast for you, you are more than welcome to pause it, but it's very important that you're pushing the buttons in the calculator and writing the things down as I am doing them so that you get the practice. And when you get to your practice sheet, you will know what you need to do. So, fraction to decimal, we just are going to take our numerator, which is 1, and this line there is a divide by, and we're going to put our denominator, which is 8, and then the equal sign is now our enter. And there is our answer. And it says 0.125. So 0.125. Okay? The next one is decimal to fraction. Okay? So we're going to look on our sheet. It says decimal to fraction. Enter your decimal number. Press the math key. Then press enter, enter. So here is my decimal number is 0.825. It says press the math key, which is right here. And then if you see, you can do this one of two ways. Yes, you can press the 1 key and then enter once. But since fraction's already highlighted, all you have to do is press enter twice. Enter, enter, and there we go. 33 over 40. 33 over 40. Okay? Mixed number fraction to decimal. So that's on here. It says mixed number fraction to decimal. Write the whole number down. Remember, the whole number is always the part on the left of the decimal. I understand you don't have a decimal written here, so it's 25 and 7/8. So the 25 is your whole number. You're going to write it down. Then it says enter the numerator. That is your 7. Push divide. Enter the denominator, which is 8. Press enter and write the decimal after the whole number. Okay, these are just review. Mixed number decimal to fraction. So here we are, mixed number decimal to fraction. It says write the whole number down. So we're going to write the whole number. Remember, the whole number is always to the left of the decimal, so that's a 1. It says then enter the decimal, press math, press enter, enter. So we're just going to be changing parts. So 0.6 math, enter, enter, and we get 3/5. So then we're just going to add that to our whole number. So it's 1 3/5. Now we're going to go over some things that we haven't learned yet. Okay, that was just a quick review. All right, so we're still going to be using fraction to decimal. So when we do a fraction to a decimal, you have done this. We are just taking and we are doing our numerator divided by our denominator, right? Okay, so 1 divided by 3, and we are going to hit enter. And we get 0.3333333. We're not going to write all those. That's just telling us that we have a repeating decimal. So we are going to write 0.3 with a line over it. Okay? Next one, 77 divided by 300. And we are going to hit enter. Ooh, this one is different. So what is the number that's repeating here? Yes, it's the 6, because the 6 over here is saying 5 or more change the score to 7. Because remember, we went over this the other day. It will only hold so many numerals after the decimal point. So our answer that we would write is 0.256 with a line over it. The line is only over the 6 because it's not saying 256, 256, 256, 256. All right, here's something we haven't done. A repeating decimal, and we need to change it to a fraction. All right, so this is 0.6, and because the line's on it, it's repeating. So what we're going to do, and you have to do this every time, you have to put 0.66666666666, and you pretty much, I always kind of just hit, as long as I've hit where calc is on this, okay, you're good. You've got to put it about 3/4 of the way across, all right? Then you're going to go and use decimal to fraction, so you are going to press the math key, and you are going to press enter, enter, and we get 2/3. Now see, if I had just put in 0.6, hit math, enter, enter, I would get the wrong answer. I'd get 3/5. So when you have a repeating decimal, you have to put it 3/4 of the way across before you stop. So here we go. Now we have 3 repeating. So 0.125, 125, 125, 1, 2, and don't stop at the middle of your repeat. Always stop at the end of your repeating decimals. So I'm over to where calc is, about 3, almost across, and I'm going to hit math, enter, enter, and I get 125 over 999. Okay? And that is simplified. It will always give it to you back in the simplified form. Okay? Percent to decimal. Now, we didn't do this the other day. And on our sheet, it says here, you enter the number, push divide, enter 100, press enter. So you are going to divide by 100. So I'm going to ignore the percent sign. I'm just going to press 96 divided by 100, and I get 0.96. Okay? Now this is a mixed number percent, okay? So what you need to do here, remember, we need to write it as a decimal first, because this is a repeating, you have a fraction there, all right? So since we have a fraction, we're going to have to convert that fraction to a decimal. So what we're going to do is we're going to write 8, 9, and then we have some parts, don't we? So we're going to put 2 divided by 3 in our calculator and convert that to a decimal. Oh, it's a repeater. Okay, so I'm going to write 0.6 with a line over it, and we're still a percent. Even though it has a decimal point in it, it is still a percent. It's saying 89 2/3%. Okay, so I'm going to do this. 89 point, remember, 6, and I am going to divide by 100 and hit enter, and look at what it gave me. Okay, so I know now that as a decimal, this is 0.896 with a line over it. Okay, it repeats. All right. Let's look at the last one. Remember, this is a percent. Even though it has a decimal point, as long as it has that percent sign on it, it is a percent. 45.35 divided by 100. Hit enter. There is the decimal equivalent to 43.35%. Okay? And that's what we wanted, the decimal equivalent. Now I'm going to remind you guys, because I know some of you probably already know, didn't even need to do this. A lot of you have been taught Dr. Pepper. Okay? So when you're going from a percent to a decimal, you have to take and move 1, 2 times to the left. So you can do that way. If you are very good at that, that's fine. Use that. You don't have to put in the calculator, but you know now that the calculator will, if you just divide by 100, it's always going to give you the correct answer. Okay? All right. Let's try to finish off on the back. Okay? And then you have a short practice today. So we have, this time we have a negative 4.2, and we're going from a decimal to a percent. So here it said when we go from a decimal to a percent, we enter the decimal, we multiply by 100. Just the opposite of when we were going from a percent to a decimal. So, and then it says make sure you remember to add the percent sign to the end of the number. So here we go, okay? So we're going to multiply by 100. So I'm going to put multiply by 100. So now, this calculator cares if you use a negative sign or a subtract sign. I know in algebra I told you a negative sign is a subtract sign, and we're going to talk about that in 8th grade math later on this year. But for now, you need to know the calculator itself. When you press this sign right here, it means you are subtracting. When you press this one in parentheses, it means that you are using it as a negative sign. Okay? So, we are going to push that one down there in parentheses, 4.2, and remember we're multiplying times 100, times 100, and we get negative 420%. Ooh, I'd hate for my bank account to be in the minus like that. Okay? Oh, here's something completely different here. These are parentheses, and this is like taking it to the power of 2 or squaring it. So, we need to find a couple of things on our calculator. Okay? First off, do you see this right here above the 8 and right above the 9? Those are your parentheses. When you see parentheses here, you need to make sure you use those parentheses. The other thing we need to talk about is this squaring sign, or to the power of 2. Here it is. Anything, I know they have an X there, but anything you need to square, if you press this button, it'll work. I think most of you know that 5 squared, or 5 times 5, is 25. So I'm just going to check it out to see if it really works that way. Do you see how it didn't put the X? It just put the squared sign. You hit enter and it tells you it's 25. So now we're going to try this one. We want to take a decimal to a percent. So I'm going to push my parentheses, 0.25. I'm going to close my parentheses. And then I'm going to square that number. Now remember, we're not just putting that in, we're taking it to a percent. So times 100, and it gives me 6.25%. Okay, so this is 6.25. And remember, in order for it to be a percent, I have to do the percent key. Okay, the percent sign. Now, if I had just done, and you guys don't have to do this, but open parentheses, 0.25, close parentheses, percent, or squared, and hit enter, do you see how it gives me a completely different number? All right, so that is the decimal form of this. This is the percent form. So decimal form, percent form. And if you remember, some of you are going to be really quick and know this also. Remember your DP for Dr. Pepper. If you're going from a decimal to a percent, you would take your decimal point and move it 1, 2 times to the right. So decimal to percent, 2 times to the right. All right? Now, and that's how this shows, 0.0625. If I move it 2 times to the right, I end up with, you could just drop 0.0625%, but I would drop, to write it correctly, the 0. Okay? Today you're going to have a practice, and your practice is back by my desk. You will be picking that practice up after you finish this video, and you will be working on that practice. Okay? So here it just goes through converting, doing all the things that we did just now. Okay? And you're going to convert. So it'll go really quickly. You might, if you want decimal to percent, you can always do something like, okay, I'm going to find that decimal to percent. It says multiply times 100. So I might do that, okay, and write it there so I don't forget and I don't have to look here every single time. Percent to decimal. Now, these are mixed. You're going to divide by 100, but these are mixed, okay? So you can just write it down, and you are going to write your number down. A fraction, remember, you're only going to convert the parts. So you're going to write your whole number down and then only convert this part of the decimal to a fraction. So remember there, you are doing math, enter, enter. Okay? All right, and if you have any questions, I'm going to be going around the room. Yes, there is a backside, so don't forget that. And just please have a great day.